Hi, it's Andy, and today I'm bringing you my October Spookables-a-thon TBR. It is spooky season and we have a last minute Spookables-a-thon board. Spookables-a-thon, I can't say it. We have a last minute board, which is great because I hadn't done my TBR yet and I wasn't really feeling like motivated for reading, so this has come at the perfect time. Perfect time. So I've done my rolls, I know what I'm reading, and I'm just here to share the fun with you all. If you don't know, Spookables-a-thon is a spooky version of Becca's Spookables-a-thon, run by or created by Becca and the books, who I will tag below. I will tag the video for this as well, in case you want to watch it. And Becca usually plays this game called Spookopoly, so it's Becca's Spookopoly. It is a TBR game based on Monopoly, and she makes a board. There we go, I'll get my board. She makes a board, and this chooses her prompts for her TBR every month. She did stop and she slowed down on it and isn't doing it as much now, which is a shame because this is one of the best TBR games that I like watching. Like, this is one of my favourites, I'm not gonna lie. But on top of that, Becca also does some seasonal ones, one being Spookopoly. And unfortunately, this is probably going to be the last Spookopoly that she does, which is a shame because, like I say, I love Spookopoly. I think it's great. But I now have my board, so if I decide that I want to do it again, I have a board and I can still do it. Anyway, so in Becca's video, she goes through all the spaces and stuff. I'm not going to rehash that. Becca does it much better than I could ever do it. It is her board after all. But I'm going to show you my rolls as we go and let you know what I got for, or what I chose for my reads. So this is my setup for the Spookables-a-thon board. So we've got the board just here with my little conker as my little doodah. Kay brought it home. It usually sits on my shelves because she thought it was cute, and my dice just here because I don't have actual dice, so this is what we're working with. Roll number 1 is 3. 1, 2, 3, and that is less than 300 pages, a small book. And so the first space I landed on was read a small book, less than 300 pages, and of course I don't have that many books on my TBR that are less than 300 pages, so this was not fun. I did not want to land on this space, but we found one that I'm actually excited for. We found one, and that is Another Elizabeth by L. Mitchell. I got this for my birthday from Rick, and I'm actually really excited for this one. So this is, you're gonna have to stay with me, this is like a horror thriller book-ish, I don't know. It is about our main character who is a serial killer. Her name is Elizabeth and she is diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is, you know, what I have, which is why I wanted to read this book. I've had it on my wish list for so long, so long, and finally Rick bought me for my birthday, so I'm very excited. But Elizabeth has recently been diagnosed with EDS and she knows that her health and her life are going to become very difficult, and so she bumps up her plans to sort of, it's almost like a bucket list, is that she wanted to kill someone. She wants to murder someone. And so she decides that she needs to get a hop on this because she's not going to be physically able as the EDS progresses. You know, as you do. And so she then realises, once she's killed one person, that actually she quite likes this. And so Elizabeth becomes a serial killer. So this is a book about a disabled serial killer. And honestly, I mainly want to pick this up because the character has EDS, hypermobile EDS to be specific. I think the author might as well, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, this is like a gory, thriller-y type book, so it's one of those ones where I'm like, not really my cup of tea usually, but I want to try it because EDS rip. Roll number 2 is 11. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which is Ghostface. And yes, the board does apparently hate me because I ended up getting Ghostface, which is what Becca described as the hardest one on the board to fulfill. So of course Muggins got it here, didn't she? And Ghostface is to pick a book with sound words in the title. Yeah, I can see why that would be difficult. However, I do have a book that I've been looking forward to reading that I also can get an audiobook because I like reading my non-fictions on audio. And that is The Song of the Cell, song being the sound word. This is a non-fiction about DNA and cells and biology, and it is dense. Like, she is thick, she is dense. It's not actually that long because there's so many, like, there's such a bibliography at the back. So yeah, this is all bibliography at the back, and this is the actual book. So The Song of the Cell by Siddhartha Mukherjee. My eyes skipped over the letters there for a second. Siddhartha Mukherjee is, like I say, a biology-based book, which I love. It is on audio, so I can listen to the audio as I am getting my microscope out to read this text, because even I'm saying this is tiny text. Like, teeny tiny text. But this is something I am so excited about because I love biology. I got my degree in forensic science. If you didn't know, you must be new. Hi. I got my degree in forensic science and I specialised in forensic biology and DNA analysis and genetics. So this is right up my street. Like, this would have been right up my street in high school. That is how much of a geek I was. So yeah, I'm very excited about this, and it works perfectly for this prompt. Roll number 3 is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that is Pentacle. And then I got Pentacle, which, again, I'm not a big fan of this square. That is to read a 5-star prediction, and I don't actually physically have this book yet. It comes out next month, which is perfect for Spookopoly. And that is The Map of Bones by Kate Moss, my queen, Kate Moss. This is the final book in the Joubert Chronicles, and I am both extremely hyped for this and also very, very sad because I loved The Ghost Ship. It was one of my favourite books when I read it, and I met Kate Moss and she, literal queen, love her so much. So this is going to be fantastic. This follows the 4th generation of Joubert women, and I believe it's set in South Africa, or it starts off in South Africa, and because they do a lot of travelling in the books. And it looks at the history of the Huguenots in South Africa after they sort of escape from France, and escape slaughter from France and run basically to South Africa. And it also looks at the niece of the character in the previous book trying to find out what happened to her aunt, because her aunt just disappeared and nobody knows what happened to her. So I'm very excited because we know in The Ghost Ship that she disappears, but we don't know what happened to her. We don't get to know what happened to her, so we need to find out along with our main character. I know nothing else about this book other than the fact that it's a Joubert book, set in South Africa, and then it follows the niece, and then obviously the end of it gives an idea, because it gives in it the epilogue of The Ghost Ship is the start of the next book, so it like crosses over. So I know that anyway, yeah, Kate Moss was talking about it. That's how I know more about it. I've not read the synopsis at all, but I am so hyped. And I've got the most beautiful edition. You will not believe it when you see it. It is absolutely stunning. It looks like embroidery, and then the edges also look like embroidery. Like, you can see it there, like, but the edges, I'm not going to show you them. I'm going to show you them when I get it. Roll number 4 is 6. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Grady Hendrix. And of course, I think this board hates me. So I landed on the Grady Hendrix square. The prompt for this is to read a funny book or a book with humour in it. And that's not why I think this board hates me. This board hates me because I do not like Grady Hendrix's books. And it's nothing wrong with the books. There is nothing wrong with the books. There's nothing wrong with Grady Hendrix. It is not that at all. But I am still traumatised from reading what about My Best Friend's Exorcism? That's it. I read My Best Friend's Exorcism, and I know I will never pick up anything from Grady Hendrix again, because it was it was unbelievably not for me. Like, it was, like, I understand why people who like that genre love Grady Hendrix. I can appreciate that. I do not like horror. I do not like certain types of gore. I do not like, you know, it was so well written, I never wanted to read a book from him again. So it's a good thing. Like, if you like horror, thriller, weird, disgusting books, Grady Hendrix, I'm telling you. Anywho, the book I did pick instead was That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. I'm just assuming this is going to be funny because of the title. Like, the next one is called That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. So there's no way this is not going to be funny. I am, like, 100% sure this is going to be funny. Like, it's literally called That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. So there's no way it's not going to be funny. It's got to be. Roll number 5 is 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that is Stabby. On the continuation of this board hating me, I landed on the Stabby Square. And the Stabby Square is to read a more gory-esque type book. So it can be true crime or a thriller book, that sort of idea. I would have preferred the spooky or the spoopy if I was going to land on one of these 3 squares, but of course I got the Stabby. Anyway, but this actually works out my favour because one of the books that I actually really want to read is The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. Now, I read the synopsis of this because I had an inkling that there was a thriller aspect to this, and there is, because something is hunting them through these magical doors. That literally the synopsis ends because there's someone out there, nameless and evil, who is hunting them all because this book is worth killing for. That is a thriller aspect that I can get behind. Yes, Another Elizabeth would have also fit for this, but that also was under 300 pages, so it was like divvying up. Anyway, I really want to read this, so I am putting this in for my thriller. Like, I think this definitely counts. And anyway, it's like my version of the board, so I'm going to count it. This is another one where I don't really know anything about it, but I met the author and he was lovely, and I have, do you know what? I have seen other people talking about it. I saw it when it came out. It's one that has piqued my interest, but I've always been like, I'm unsure. And then when I met the author and found out he was also Scottish, I was like, well, I need to read it. Roll number 6 is 7. Again, I'm getting a lot of 7s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is lowest rated. And then you see the next one I landed on was lowest rated. Another one that I didn't want to land on because I don't have Goodreads. I use Storygraph, and Storygraph, well, for one, I don't have all my TBR on my Storygraph, and 2, you can't organise Storygraph by rating. So Tori suggested I pick 10 books and do it that way, and so I did that instead of putting my entire TBR on Goodreads when I don't even have Goodreads. I do like go on to an old account that I've not updated since like God knows when and create a shelf to do this. And it was a nightmare. I hate Goodreads so much. It's like somebody designed it in the 90s and they went, yeah, that'll do. And they've just never updated it. It looks like one of those make your own websites that I remember fannying about with when I was younger. Like, somebody get some kind of designer on this because it is ugly as hell. Just saying. Anyway, from the books that I picked, Bobby Look Away, the one that was the lowest rated out of the books that I picked was Pole Position by Rebecca J. Caffrey. This is a male-male F1 romance, and Bobby really likes it, and I picked it up because I trust Bobby. But unfortunately, I did have the lowest rating on out of the 10. But I did pick some books that I was really excited about that have been out longer, that are better established. So, yeah. Roll number 7 is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that is Future. And next we got Future, which is to pick up what is called a rainy day book. So a book that you've been planning to read in the future, like put away for a rainy day, that sort of thing. And for that, I decided to use my trusty TBR jar. And I will give you, and in the past, to picked the name to let you know whose book we got. Hello, Andy from the past here, and it is time to do my pick. It sounds so empty because there's only 3 books left. There's only 3 books left now. So we have Meg's pick, which is The Silence of the Girls by Pip Barker. We have Bobby's pick, which is honestly the one I would prefer to get, and that is Rambling Man by Billy Connolly. I do have his next one pre-ordered and it comes out like next month, so I would quite like to read this before that one comes out. And of course we have the big one, the one that we all fear. The budget read for this has increased. And it might ruin people's TBRs. And that is Jem's pick, which is The Fragile Threads of Power. Honestly, this is a chunker and I'm kind of intimidated and a little bit scared. So it is time now to do the pick. And we shall see what we end up with. I really am hoping for Billy Connolly. I don't think I'm going to like The Silence of the Girls. And obviously, Threads. Okay, who have we got? Who have we got? Oh no. I can't get it open. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Meg! I thought it said Gem there because it was upside down. Meg! Which means I'm reading The Silence of the Girls. Not gonna lie, I'm also intimidated by this. This is a Greek retelling, and we all know I've not been having such a good time with Greek retellings. But with this, I also get a prompt because I asked for a prompt alongside my picks, which I forgot last month, I will admit. And the prompt for this is to read a whimsical book. So I'll need to put that into my TBR coming up later. So there you go. You would have seen I picked Meg's pick, which was The Silence of the Girls by Pip Barker. This is one that I am actually not that much looking forward to. It is a Greek retelling of Troy, I believe, and I have not been having the best time with Greek retellings. So hopefully this is better because Pip Barker is very lauded. Like I say, she won, or she was shortlisted here for the Women's Prize for Fiction 2019 with this book. So I can only hope that that means that this is actually good and I'm not going to get mad at it like I did that one book that I'm not going to mention because I'll go off on a rant. Rule number 8 is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Blood. And then we got Blood, which is a book that has red predominantly on the cover. And I genuinely did not think I had that many red books, but I actually have quite a few. But I'd already picked the book by the time I came up to actually look at my books, and so I'm not changing it because I really want to read this, and that is Loving Romeo by Laura Pavlov. This is, although the actual book itself is more like a muted red, almost pinky, the title is red, the gloves are red, her name is red. It is quite predominantly red on the cover, and like I say, like this is, it's almost like, you know, if you were to take like paint and like, it's like watercolour that's been like dragged. So it looks pinky, but I think it is actually red. Or, you know, it's red enough. So yes, I'm going to read Loving Romeo by Laura Pavlov. This is a enemies to lovers, small town romance about a boxer who was from the wrong side of the tracks and then like an heiress sort of character. Somebody advertised it as being like for fans of Elsie Silver, Chestnut Spring series, and I was like, well, now I have to read it. So I've got this and the next one, but I'm going to read this one this month and hopefully really enjoy it, and that way I can continue on with the series. Rule number 9 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that is Cauldron. And next up I got Cauldron, which is a sort of mix idea. So it is a book that has more than one of your favourite tropes in it, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not entirely sure what counts as a trope or not, but I'm just going with what I think, and so for that I've chosen Kindling by Bonnie Woods. This is a enemies to lovers, small town, city girl goes to the country type book, and so I think that's a good mix of tropes and tropes that I like. You know, it's also set in Scotland, so, and it's written by not a Scottish author but an English author, so I'm really hoping that she's done a good job. So yeah, this is definitely something. And there's a dog. There's a dog. So this has definitely got, I think, at least a couple of tropes that I really like. Like I say, enemies to lovers, I really enjoy. Oh, it's also forced proximity because they have to live in the same thing. So there's 2 tropes that I really like. I also like, you know, small town type thing. So yeah, I think this is a good one, and it's a nice, lovely autumnal pick for October. This is about a girl named Harper who goes to the Scottish Highlands for a holiday and ends up stuck in the forest with nowhere to stay, and Fraser, who is the guy that lives there, offers to let her stay in his shack. Shack is not the right word. In his cabin. Oh my god. In his cabin. They shack up together basically. As long as she doesn't get in his way. And obviously they're going to fall in love, but he is like grumpy. It's Grumpy Sunshine as well. I love that trope as well. Oh my god, we're winning. We're winning on this. We are winning on this. But yeah, so I'm very excited and I'm looking forward to this. And roll number 10 is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that is a community shelf. And then the last roll of my Spookably board was community shelf. And for that you have to put prompts on the cards and pick a prompt and use that prompt to pick a book. However, like I said in my jar pick little pop-up, I also get a prompt with my picks, and so I decided to use that instead of putting them on a card. And for that, I got Meg's prompt, which was to read a whimsical book. And for that, I've also decided to go with a Meg Rec, which is A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire by Sarah Hawley. So I don't think this one specifically is a Meg Rec, but A Witch's Guide to Dating a Demon, the first one, was a Meg Rec that I absolutely loved. And this is book 3 in that series. I don't know if there's going to be any more, we shall find out, but this is the book we shall be reading. I genuinely don't know anything about this book other than it's a werewolf and a vampire, because I just really enjoy this series. So yeah, again, not really looked at the back of it, but I believe the werewolf might be the colleague of the witch from the first one. I think he owns a bookstore or something like that. And I have no idea who the vampire is going to be. I don't think we've been introduced to the vampire yet, but I think we've been introduced to the werewolf. But anyway, these are always a funny, good time, and I really just had to get it onto my TBR. So that is my Bookoply rolls out of the way. There are a couple of other books that I do want to get onto my TBR, and I've just not bothered to do any more rolls. I've just tacked them onto the end here, and I'll let you know. First of all is the Chronicles of Ixia read-along book, which this month is Shadow Study. So Shadow Study is our October book. And yeah, I don't know how I feel about switching. I was really apprehensive to switch over to Opal's books, and now I'm really apprehensive again to switch back over to Yelena, because I get so settled in the world and then a change happens and I'm like, but I'm so excited to see what's been happening to Yelena, like, while we've been away doing something else basically. So yeah, I am excited, and I think this is shorter than the Opal's books have been, so here's hoping. I don't have the book. Tori's bringing me a copy down tomorrow when I see her, so I will have the second Shadow trilogy to read, and I'll probably give her back her other one. Well, I still have to film, so maybe not. But yeah, this follows, we're back with Yelena again, and obviously time has passed, and we get to see what she's up to. I know nothing other than that. Also, because I felt like I didn't really have much sort of Halloween-y books on my TBR, I decided I also wanted to read The Last Witch of Scotland by Philip Paris. This was actually one of the ones that was on my lowest, like, 10 pick. And yeah, I just really want to read this. This is another Scottish book, written by a Scottish author this time, and this is a fictionalised version of the story of the last woman to be charged and killed for witchcraft in Scotland. So it is based on a true story, and set in Scotland, and it is in the 1700s, so 1727. And yeah, I'm just really excited about this. This is one that I picked up a while ago and I've been really excited to read, and I feel like spooky season is just the best time possibly to read this, because we're talking about witches and stuff like that. Obviously not real witches, it will be like more historical fiction than it is witchy, but historical fiction also kind of gives me autumnal vibes, you know? And the last book that is going on my TBR is my finally up to date reread. Finally up to date reread of my Lindsay Sands book, and that is Bad Luck Vampire. And this one follows Alistair Mackenzie and someone else whose name I don't know because I can't see it. Sophie. There we go. Alistair and Sophie. And this book, this is the last one I have. We're not getting a new Arjuna book until July 2025. She is working on 2 of them though, so hopefully we'll get one soon after that. So yeah, July 2025 before I get a new fix of my Arjuna books. But she is writing another, she is like midway through writing another one as well. She's just doing edits for the first one. So there are more coming. I'm just not getting my 2 a year like I normally was. So yeah, this takes me up to date with my reread for that. There we are. Those are the books that I plan to read in the month of October. I feel like this does give me a little bit of wiggle room if I have other books that I want to pick up. I can see how I get on after finishing these books. And yeah. Oof. October. I always do this every month. I'm like, how is it this month already? But like October, like it just, I kid you not, last week it was 20 odd degrees and now it's slammed itself down to like 9 and I'm freezing. So cold. But I'm starting to feel like I still don't feel very like autumnal spooky season in September. It only really hits me when we get to October. So I'm really excited. I can feel myself shifting into like spooky season mode and I'm really excited to read some of these books. Like I've got a good few in here that are like, I think spooky season-esque, my version of spooky season-esque. Like we've got some vampires, some werewolves, we've got some autumnal reads, we've got some thriller reads, we've got some creature reads, we've got a serial killer in there. So yeah, I don't know what my hair's doing. So yeah, I am excited about this TBR and I'm very excited to read the Map of Bones. Very excited to read the Map of Bones. So that'll be all coming to you in vlogs. And yeah, let me know if you're taking part in Spookably this year or this spooky season in October. Let me know if you've read any of the books I am talking about down below. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you want to let me know you were here, but you want to sit and type a comment out, leave me some kind of spooky autumnal, like a spooky / autumnal thing down below. Ghosties, pumpkins, you know, the whole 9 yards, some leaves, whatever you want. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.